Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm jumping on live really quick. I usually like doing these in the evening, but I'm actually going to be busy this evening, so I'm going to hop on in the middle of the day, and I hope a few of you can catch this one. Today I'm talking about low self-esteem in school with kids, and it's just something I've been thinking about a lot. And I'm talking about low self-esteem because they can't do the homework to the level that their classmates can. They can't do the reading, the writing, the math to the level that their classmates can, and they look around and they feel like they're falling behind because everyone else can do it except them. And then they start questioning their intelligence, and maybe they're going to lower their self-esteem. So that's also going to contribute, low levels of kind of feeling anxious about school, and you're always going to not want to go to school because you can't do it well. And I'm just going to talk about why that is. And a lot of kids are going to think that it's just purely because of their intelligence, and they're going to even say that they're stupid and things like that. But that's usually not the case at all. It's almost always because of something that I check for in the office. That's usually the type of patient I work with are kids that are struggling in school. Almost every kid or every patient that I've had who's been struggling in school has something called retained primitive reflexes, either one or multiple of them. And these are just reflexes that you have as an infant. They kind of get the brain going, and then they should go away by that first year of life. And the reason that they go away is so that the brain can do more complex things like school and being able to read and write and critically think. But if you still have these reflexes, then you're not going to be able to do those more complex things, and you're going to have trouble with school. So a lot of these reflexes, some of them can affect your ability to read. They're going to affect eye tracking, your ability to converge your eyes so that you can read. If you imagine reading in a smooth line like this, but some reflexes will actually make your eyes jump, so they're going to be jumping up and down lines. It's going to really throw off their ability to comprehend what they're reading. It's going to affect their reading speed because they're going to reread the same line. They're going to get to the end of the page, at the end of the chapter, and they're going to realize, I have no idea what I just read. And then they start thinking that it's them and it's their intelligence, and it's actually not. It's usually just because of some kind of handicap like this, these reflexes, specifically what I'm talking about right now is ATNR, that affect their eye tracking. And there's one reflex that affects your eye tracking this way, which is an ATNR, and there's one that affects it in this plane, which is the STNR. So there's all kinds of different reflexes that affect their ability to be able to do what they should in school. Virtually all kids, have these reflexes like spinal gallop, for instance. Kids that have this, they're not going to be able to sit still. They're not going to be able to focus or concentrate the way that they should. Some kids are going to have poor handwriting or speech and articulation issues. The ATNR was of particular importance to me, the one that affected eye tracking, and kids that have this reflex really struggle with reading, and it's one reflex that I actually had until I learned about primitive reflexes and it became a bigger part of my office. But I actually, all through elementary and grade school and high school, I actually never read. I hated reading. I was really bad at reading. It was by far the lowest score I had on my ACT. It was just like the one thing I absolutely hated about school. And I always thought I wasn't as intelligent as everyone else. I couldn't, comprehend what I was reading. I wasn't a fast reader. And just to come think about it, looking back now, it's because I had that ATNR. And it affected my eye's ability to track the proper way to converge, which is necessary to be able to read. So that was the one that had particular importance to me, and I also had a Moreau reflex, which is going to make it hard to be able to sit still. You're always going to feel like you have this anxious feeling. You're always going to be kind of on edge. You're not going to like loud noises. Everything in the classroom is going to be stealing your attention away with different stimuli, whether it's a sound or a sight or something coming into your vision. Or things like that. So the purpose of this was just to say that usually kids, they're going to have that low self-esteem if they can't do the things that their classmates are able to, but it's almost never because of just actual intelligence. It's usually because they have these primitive reflexes here that are acting as kind of a handicap to where it's not allowing their brain to be able to function the way that it should. And then when you have these reflexes, when you do things. Hi, Brittany. I hope all is well. You said you have had some reflexes as well. Yeah, I mean, they're extremely common. Like, I would say out of all the kids that I check in my office, I bet 85% have some type of reflex, and the ATNR is actually the most common. It's mostly going to affect with eye tracking. It can also affect with hand-eye coordination and stuff like that. She just hates reading. That's understandable. But then when you fast forward now, I've gotten rid of my AT&R because I knew it was there, and it's actually one of my favorite hobbies now. I actually have my books behind me there. It's one of my favorite things I do now. I love reading. So I went from never picking up a book all through, through high school and even into college. I still hated reading. And then once I realized that it was just this AT&R that I had that was making me not very efficient at reading, then it became one of my favorite things to do. So it's pretty cool what these reflexes are able to do, and I just really like assessing kids with these because I've actually had them, and I can attest to how much it changes your ability to learn and grow and concentrate in the classroom. So the low self-esteem is not a thing that kids need to go through. It's never a thing that they just have like low intelligence. It's usually because they have these primitive reflexes that are holding them back and allowing their brain to work the way that they should. But I'm going to jump off really quick. I didn't want to take a ton of time. I hope you guys like it, and I will try to get back and doing these in the evening. I hope you guys all have a great day, and tune in tomorrow.